Okay, so the video today is a tough one. We'll be talking about updates of the couple found murdered near Moab in August and the case of another missing woman, as well as suggestions that the two cases may be linked. If this type of coverage is not something you want to hear about, I understand. You may want to stop now, but I do have a lot of people who are interested in this story and have asked me to cover it. We'll be back with a more happy video soon, I promise. Welcome back to another travel news episode. I'm your host, Robert Witham. I scour the news for stories of interest to travelers and those who love the great outdoors, so you don't have to. Did you know I'm on Patreon? You can join me there for as little as $1 a month for access to behind-the-scenes stories and photos, as well as early access to news, videos, and more. Visit patreon.com/Robert Witham to learn more or to join. Well, I posted a video recently about a double homicide involving a couple who had been camping in the La Salle Mountains near Moab, Utah. Now there are questions about whether this double homicide may be linked possibly to a missing persons case involving another young woman. This is a difficult story to cover and it involves a lot of unpleasant details, but I have never been asked by more viewers to cover a single story, and it does have an obvious application for those of us who are travelers. I'm also going to share some information with you in this video that I was able to uncover while researching this story that I have not seen reported anywhere else about the Gabby Petito story. I'll start with Crystal Turner and Kylen Schulte. On August 18, a friend found the bodies of Crystal and Kylen. Crystal was 38 years old. Kylen was 24. They were a newlywed couple at their campsite in the La Salle Mountains near Moab, Utah. The couple had been reported missing 2 days before they were found. According to police, they were last seen at Woody's Tavern in Moab on Friday, August 13th, when they left around 8:30 p.m., according to security footage. There have been reports on social media I've seen that the couple was again seen in Moab the following day on Saturday, but police appear to still be working with Friday as the last time they were seen alive. So I'm not sure what that discrepancy is there. But in any event, Friday or Saturday for sure. Both women worked in Moab and by all accounts were well regarded in the community. Prior to their deaths, the women had told friends that there was a creepy man, as they described it, around their campsite, and that they were planning to move campsites as a result. I have not been able to find any description of this creepy man yet, so I don't know if they did not provide that information to their friends or if they've provided and the police just are not wanting to release that yet. Hopefully it was a description, of course. And of course, I want to emphasize we don't know at this point that the creepy man was even involved in this, but it's obviously a question that authorities are looking at. While it was previously reported that the women were found at their campsite and that both had been shot to death, little additional information was offered by investigators other than that it was not a murder-suicide and that there was not believed to be an ongoing threat to the community. Now, newly unsealed search warrants shed more light on this tragic story. The warrants were filed in an attempt to allow investigators to search a van that the women owned that was found in a parking lot in Moab that was not at the campsite. A Kia Sorento found at the campsite was seized by investigators, and then a 1987 Ford Econoline van that the couple owned that was in town was towed and also searched. Inside the van, investigators reported finding a journal, a Bible, newspaper clippings, miscellaneous mail and pay stubs for the two victims, as well as mail for a family member of one of the women, notes with phone numbers and other handwritten information. Investigators also found paperwork that indicated the couple had a storage unit, which police have since been able to access and search as well. According to the search warrant, Kylen had told friends that if something happened to them, they had been murdered, and that there was a creepy man around their camp that they were intimidated by him. The warrants revealed that the women were found partially undressed in a nearby creek near to their campsite, and that both had sustained multiple gunshot wounds to their bodies. According to the court documents, the wounds were located on the backs, sides, and or chests of the victims. Court documents also revealed that investigators found normal amenities for a long-term campsite, including a tent. According to KUTV, officials with the Grand County Sheriff's Office believe the murderer has fled the area. A pair of $10,000 rewards are currently being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for these murders. Meanwhile, as it approaches 1 month since the murder of Kylen and Crystal was discovered, questions are emerging about whether their death might be linked to the disappearance of another woman, Gabby Petito. Gabby, 22 years old, has been missing since late August. Gabby was on a cross-country road trip in her converted camper van with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, when she abruptly stopped communicating with her family. Gabby had been documenting the trip on social media and has a YouTube channel as well with a single video that was shot before they hit the road. But updates stopped around the time that she stopped contacting her family. The couple were last known to be at Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Gabby's fiancé, Brian, returned home to Florida in her 2012 Ford Transit van on September 1st. Her family reported her missing 10 days later on September 11. The van has since been impounded and police are searching it for any evidence. Gabby's fiancé, Brian, is reportedly refusing to cooperate with police and has retained a lawyer. The couple were in Moab on August 12th, one day before Kylen and Crystal were last seen, when police were called to a possible domestic violence incident involving the two. A witness to the incident called 911 and said that he observed the couple fighting over a phone. According to statements made to police by both Brian and Gabby, Brian told Gabby to take a walk to calm down, entered the van, and locked the doors. They've been together. These guys have been together for several years, apparently. They're engaged. That was not a good move, locking her out of the van like that. That's I can. What happened next is kind of over the top, but that probably wasn't the best move on his part. Gabby then hit him on the arm before climbing through the driver's side window into the van. The couple then left the scene. This all occurred at the store in Moab where Kylen worked. Police stopped the van a short time later near the entrance to Arches National Park after observing it being operated erratically, crossing the center line, then hitting a curb. Officers reported finding Gabby in the passenger seat crying uncontrollably. She told officers that she had been struggling with mental health recently. Officer Daniel Robbins said, "At no point in my investigation did Gabrielle stop crying, breathing heavily, or compose a sentence without needing to wipe away tears, wipe her nose, or rub her knees with her hands." Here's a clip from police body cam footage of the traffic stop.
Driver is showing some obscure driving, possibly intoxicated. Currently doing 45 miles an hour. Zone through here is 25. Oh! Subject just hit the curb. Correction, speed limit is 15. I'm about 3/4 of a mile into the Arches, just before the gate. Do you want to place your vehicle into park and go ahead and turn it off for me? No, park?
Oh, it isn't parked yet.
Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, all right? What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
I'm Brian.
Gabby, Brian? Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got stuff, flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
Yeah, buddy. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I have the female that was on the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I hear me like in a bad mood, and I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That was my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. I just have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website, so I've been really stressed.
Yeah, that's just a short clip. The entire video, I think, is about an hour and 17 minutes. You can find it online if you want to, but obviously I'm not going to play it all here. But I did conduct an extensive, detailed interview at the scene. The dispute between the two occurred at the store where Kylen worked in Moab. There are some details revealed in police body cam footage, though, that I have not seen reported anywhere else. I'll share those with you here. Both Gabby and Brian told police that she had hit and scratched him on several occasions during this dispute and as they were driving towards Arches National Park, where police stopped the vehicle. Brian told officers that Gabby had grabbed the steering wheel and jerked it, which is why he hit the curb. Gabby told officers that she had not grabbed the steering wheel, but that she instead punched Brian in the arm, and that caused him to jerk the wheel and hit the curb. Other than that discrepancies, their stories were remarkably similar. After interviewing both Gabby and Brian, and observing scratches and a swollen right eye on Brian, officers determined that Gabby was the aggressor in this dispute. Officers took photos of Brian's injuries during the traffic stop and interviews. Officers initially intended to charge Gabby with domestic violence battery, a Class B misdemeanor in Utah, and actually they informed both of them that they were going to be doing that they would be charging her. However, after talking to both of them for quite some time, and since Brian's injuries were minor, and he did not want to press charges, and Gabby stated that she did not intend to hurt him when she slapped and punched and scratched him, officers eventually decided to not charge her for domestic violence battery. The two were, however, separated for the night, with Brian being taken to a hotel and Gabby being released with the van. The two were told to not have any contact, including by phone calls or text messages, until the following day, August 13th. Brian reportedly told officers that the pair had been experiencing increasing emotional tension and that they were arguing frequently due to the stress of traveling together for 4 to 5 months in a van. Guys, just a quick aside here. A lot of people, it's all Instagram moments and everything, but living in a van is challenging. 2 people in a van is somewhere way beyond challenging. 2 people in a small van like that transit, man, it's a hard deal. So, not saying every couple that lives in a van together ends up with the police being called out, but it's a tough deal, and you have no space, and it's very difficult, and it's going to take some intentional strategies to manage that and for the relationship to survive if you're going to do that. So, I'll just throw that out there. So, again, no excuses for what happened here or anything else, but that is a lot of stress, and that could definitely lead to some serious relationship issues. So that's something to be aware of if you're thinking about doing this. Rangers in Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone National Park, meanwhile, have said they are working with other law enforcement officers in this investigation. Brian Laundrie is now described by police as a person of interest in Gabby's disappearance, but he has not yet been charged. Frank Montoya, a retired FBI special agent with experience in missing persons cases, spoke with East Idaho News about Gabby Petito's case. It will be a dereliction of duty if you did not look at that in terms of a possible connection, he said. It's not to say that anybody's guilty of anything at this point of time, but if it was a crime that led to her disappearance, could there be a connection, and could it explain why she is missing at this point in time, he went on to say. The Grand County Sheriff's Office released a statement yesterday that reads, "The Grand County Sheriff's Office has been in contact with Florida authorities, and we are actively looking into any connection between the Gabby Petito missing person case and the double homicide investigation that occurred in Grand County. The Grand County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate any information received concerning this double homicide, The sheriff's office is not ruling anything out at this time and appreciates the concerns of the public and their willingness to contact this office for those concerns and information. Gabby, who is still missing, is described as being 5 feet 5 inches tall, 110 pounds, having long blonde/strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes, and several tattoos. They had been traveling in a white Ford Transit van with Florida license plates. The couple is known to have been in the area of Grand Teton National Park in late August. According to a statement from the National Park Service, Gabby is believed to have been in Grand Teton National Park at the time of her last contact with family. Gabby talked with her mother on a video call August 24th or 25th. Gabby's mother next received a text from her on August 30, though she has stated she did not believe that text was actually from Gabby. At this point in time, the search for Gabby remains a missing person case rather than a homicide investigation. It is curious, however, when two really bizarre and tragic cases overlap in one geographic location. Gabby and Brian were known to be in Moab on August 12. That's when the domestic dispute occurred, when police stopped them, while Crystal and Kylen were last seen the following day, August 13. That being said, despite the obvious questions of whether this is a coincidence, authorities have not yet confirmed a link between the two cases, though they have admitted they are looking into it at this point. It is highly curious that Brian and Gabby were in Moab on August 12, including having a physical dispute at the store where Kylen worked the day before Kylen and Crystal were last seen. It is probable, if not certain, that Brian and Gabby were still in Moab on August 13, the day Kylen and Crystal were last seen alive. It's also highly suspicious that Gabby went missing, possibly in Grand Teton National Park, and Brian drove her van back to Florida, failed to report her missing or to notify her family, and is refusing to cooperate with police who are trying to find Gabby. But despite the obvious overlap in time and location, it's still not known for sure whether this is an actual connection between these cases or if it's a coincidence. I also want to emphasize that I do understand that the domestic dispute between Gabby and Brian was only one snapshot in time, and I have no idea what the rest of the relationship was like. I don't know if he was ever violent towards her. I don't know if this was a one-time thing for her. I'm not making any statements or judgments on that, just sharing the news and the actual facts that on the one occasion on August 12, it was Gabby who was the aggressor in a physical dispute that did cause some minor injuries, and the police were aware of that, and they came within about an inch of charging her with domestic violence. So that has not been reported anywhere I've seen, and I don't know why that's the case, but that's the way that is. And again, I don't know what the rest of the relationship was like. I'm not making any assessments or judgments about that. New reports about the story do indicate that local police, national park investigators, and the FBI are currently conducting searches within Grand Teton National Park looking for Gabby, because they really do believe that's where they're going to find her. That's where she was last seen. The FBI is, and I will note, if you're in a national park, you got to go through entrance booths to get in or out. So I would expect, I don't know for certain in Grand Teton, but I would expect there are video cameras. So they may be able to, they should be able to see when they came into the park and when that van left the park, and hopefully how many occupants were in the front seat. The FBI is involved in both investigations. On the one hand, this is good because both cases may involve interstate issues. Gabby appears to have disappeared while there was the incident in Utah. She appears to have last been seen in Wyoming, and the fiance is now back in Florida. The case with Kylen and Crystal occurred in Utah. However, the killer is believed to have fled the area, according to police. So again, you're dealing with interstate issues here, so the FBI is going to be an asset in that case. Both cases are also going to require tremendous resources, which the FBI will be able to throw at this. On the other hand, I've had to deal with the FBI before on stories, and trying to get information from that agency is nearly impossible. So we would have seen a lot more information about this stuff if it was handled by local and county police and sheriff's offices. So if you're watching this and happen to have any information about either of these cases, or if you were in the area and saw any of these people, please contact law enforcement and share that information. You never know when some little piece of information will be the thing that breaks a case open and allows them to figure out what happened. Meanwhile, I hope and pray that Gabby is found alive and that whomever is responsible for the murders of Crystal and Kylen is quickly arrested and prosecuted. I will continue to follow these stories, and I will post an update about one or both stories if I learn anything more. Well, don't forget, travelers, send me links or details for stories you think might be of interest. You can email those to me at robert.witham@gmail.com. Thank you to everyone who has already shared links and information with me, details. And now that you know what's going on out there, please like this video and subscribe if you're not already, so you can stay in the know about all things of interest to travelers and those who love the great outdoors. And if you're interested in learning more about the traveling lifestyle or becoming a nomad, including safety and security considerations, check out my online course, Nomad Lifestyle 101, for all the information you need to be successful in one place, along with access to me for questions or concerns you may have. I'll have a link to that below in the video description. Thanks for joining me for this travel news episode, everyone, and I will catch you in the next one.